Good evening. I am Judge Deborah Thomas, and I want to thank you for tuning in and watching this information we're going to provide for you. This evening, the groups of the Metropolitan Elks, of the Improved Benevolent Order of Elks of the World, along with Rainbow Push Michigan, and joining therein, Voices Not Heard of Michigan, are sponsoring a forum for the judicial candidates for the state of Michigan. We will have candidates who will speak to you this evening who are seeking office for the Michigan Supreme Court, the Wayne County Circuit Court, and Detroit's 36th District Court. We hope that you enjoy learning more about each of the candidates, and we're going to get started in just one moment. Our first candidate this evening is Judge Sheila Johnson. She is a candidate for the Michigan Supreme Court, and all of these candidates will be on the ballot this November. Sheila Johnson, Judge Johnson, won't you join us?
Thank you very much, and I'd like to say thank you so much to Judge Thomas for hosting this event so that the citizens can get a good understanding of who I am and what the Supreme Court race is all about. I currently serve as a judge on the 46th District Court in the city of Southfield, but I am an endorsed candidate by the Democratic Party for the Michigan Supreme Court, which will be a statewide ballot initiative, and you can vote no matter where you live in the state on November the 6th for me for this first African-American justice to serve on the Michigan Supreme Court. I have been on the bench for 10 years, and before that, I worked in the community representing children and families and people just like we have here today. So I understand what justice means to the average everyday citizen because I've walked in your shoes and I've represented you. I've represented Michigan and children, families in different courts around the states of Michigan, including the circuit courts and the family division, and I've represented people who otherwise didn't have access to representation, mothers and families who needed lawyers to represent them to make sure that they got a fair shot in court even when they didn't have the money to do so. And so as a judge, I brought that experience over from working in the community to the bench to try to make sure that my decisions were fair, just, and balanced, taking into consideration how all things impact all citizens in our community. As your next Supreme Court justice and the first African-American female justice, I plan to do just that, bring justice back for the people to the Michigan Supreme Court. No longer will we have courts that are just interested in special interest in big businesses, but we will have justices who will do what's fair, right, and honest for the people in the court as well as the people of the state of Michigan. You as citizens of our state deserve that. And I'm running on a great ticket. This is a historical ticket with two other candidates for this court, Judge Connie Kelly, Bridget McCormick, and myself. And if you elect this team, you can be sure that we're going to do what's fair and honest for the citizens of our states, and we'll be able to do that at least till 2020. And I want to let you all know that we cannot fight this fight without you, the citizens, to vote. This is the most important race that you can vote for other than President of the United States and all of the candidates that are at the top of the ticket. You need to make sure you go down to the bottom of the ballot where it says the nonpartisan section and vote for the judges. And the Supreme Court race will be at the top of that, where you will also see your ballot proposals like PA4, which deals with the emergency financial management. If you get out and you vote, people, this is where your power is, to make a real change, to make sure that these decisions take into consideration you, your children, your family, and your grandchildren. This is your opportunity to state that we're no longer going to go for a Supreme Court that's unfair. We want a court that's going to do the right thing by the people. And I am your candidate, along with my two colleagues, to do just that. So keep me in mind, Judge Sheila Johnson, for the Michigan Supreme Court race. Thank you so much for your time.
Judge Deborah Thomas back again. We're going to do all three of the Supreme Court candidates in first at the top of the list. And I want to remind you that all judges are elected on that portion of the ballot that's entitled nonpartisan. You may want to vote your total party ticket, and you can do that if you wish, but if you don't go to the nonpartisan section, you will not have voted for a single solitary judge. So it is important that you vote for the nonpartisan section of the ballot in order to vote for the judges. The next candidate who's going to make a presentation this evening is Judge Connie Kelly. Connie Kelly, is also a candidate for the Michigan Supreme Court. If you vote anywhere in Michigan, you can vote for all three of the Supreme Court candidates. Next candidate up, Judge Connie Kelly.
Thank you, Judge Thomas, and thank you all for having us here tonight. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Judge Connie Marie Kelly, and I'm currently a Wayne County Circuit Court judge along with Judge Deborah Thomas. I am one of the 3 democratically nominated candidates for the Michigan Supreme Court. So I want you all to understand that you can, and we want you to all vote for the 3 of us, Judge Johnson, Judge Connie Kelly, and Bridget McCormick, who you will meet next. I was a trial lawyer for about 27 years before I was elected to the Wayne County Circuit Court bench. As a lawyer, I represented clients throughout the state of Michigan. I represented people who had been wrongfully fired from their jobs or were denied equal pay, benefits, and promotion because of their race, their age, their sex, or their disability. I fought for my clients' rights for 27 years to make sure that they were treated fairly in the courts throughout the state of Michigan. As a circuit court judge, I sit in the family division where I help protect families and children every single day. I was also instrumental in starting a domestic violence court in Wayne County because we felt that there were so many women and children who were trapped in a cycle of domestic violence and were unable to escape that cycle. In addition to that, I founded a girls' mentoring program for the girls at Cody High School in Detroit. I bring in motivational speakers to talk to them about making good decisions, healthy lifestyles, college and career planning, because I want them to understand that their opportunities are unlimited. So I've decided to take my passion for making sure that everyone is treated fairly to the highest court in the state, the Michigan Supreme Court. I am so proud to be nominated by the Democratic Party along with Judge Johnson and Bridget McCormick. The 3 of us have been crossing the state for the past year, telling people how important it is who sits on the Supreme Court. If you read the papers or you watch the news, you know that it matters. The Supreme Court is making important decisions that affect everybody's life every day, and it's critical that the right people are sitting on the Michigan Supreme Court. So we ask you to support us. Sometimes they call us the 3 Supremes for the Michigan Supreme Court. This is the first time we've ever had 3 women running together on the ticket for the Supreme Court. But the most important thing, besides the quality of the candidates that you are asked to elect, is the idea of that you must vote on the nonpartisan section of the ballot. As Judge Thomas explained, there are so many people who go to vote for president and they vote for senator, but then they don't go down the ballot and vote for any of the judges. This is critical that we vote for the judges, so we ask you to go to the nonpartisan section of the ballot, and of course look at the many ballot initiatives that will be on your ballot in November as well. So we thank you so much for having us, and here's a way for you to remember it. Don't give your ballot back till you vote Kelly, Johnson, and McCormick. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Our next candidate is also running for the Michigan Supreme Court. She is a professor of law at the University of Michigan. She is an assistant dean for the law clinics at the University of Michigan. She's a dear friend, and I couldn't say otherwise. I want to bring to you the 3rd of the 3 Supremes, the 3 Supremes for the Michigan Supreme Court, found on the nonpartisan ballot that you can vote for no matter where you live in Michigan. The next candidate is Bridget Mary McCormick.
Thank you very much to Judge Thomas for hosting this wonderful event and giving me the opportunity to talk to you about myself. My name is Bridget Mary McCormick, and I am delighted and honored to be running for the Michigan Supreme Court along with Judge Connie Kelly and Judge Sheila Johnson. Together, the three of us are going to make sure that the Michigan Supreme Court is returned and restored to a court that's based on fairness, integrity, and protecting all of our families. We are going to win this election in the fall with your help. As Judge Thomas told you, I'm at the University of Michigan Law School. I'm a professor there, and I'm the dean for all the clinical programs. What that means is I'm in charge of practical legal education. We use law school now to teach law students how to be real lawyers, not just how to think about appellate decisions. And we do that by representing people who otherwise couldn't afford lawyers. I myself have founded a lot of the legal clinics that we run at the law school. I founded a domestic violence clinic. I founded a pediatric health advocacy clinic. In that clinic, the law students work together under my supervision, together with pediatricians, to provide legal services to the pediatric patients who are the sick children and their families. I also founded the Michigan Innocence Clinic. In the Michigan Innocence Clinic, we represent people who've been wrongfully convicted of crimes, and we work to prove their innocence so that we can make sure that the guilty party is actually apprehended and the innocent people are not in prison. We've exonerated 6 people in our first 3 years. And in those 6 cases, we know of 5 additional homicides that happened in Michigan communities because the wrong person was in prison while the guilty party was still out in our communities. Our families are not safer when the justice system gets it wrong. I've now spent 21 years representing people who don't have access to lawyers or courts or justice, and I'm going to take the lessons that I've learned from that work, the lessons that I've learned about where the system doesn't work so well and who it doesn't work well for, to the Michigan Supreme Court. And together with Sheila Johnson and Connie Kelly, Judge Sheila Johnson and Judge Connie Kelly, we are going to make sure the Michigan Supreme Court cares about all of our families. A little bit about me personally. I live in Ann Arbor because I teach at the University of Michigan. I live there with my husband, and we have 4 teenagers and almost teenagers. And I want to make sure we know that we all have to vote in the nonpartisan section of the ballot. So, to say it yet again, the nonpartisan section, you will have to go to that section and look for Judge Connie Kelly, Judge Sheila Johnson, and Bridget Mary McCormack. And so remember our slogan, don't give your ballot back until you vote Kelly, Johnson, and McCormack. Thank you very much.
I have known each of these candidates, some longer than others. Sheila Johnson and I go back. I always used to tease her and say, I've known her since she was a baby lawyer and helped her when she ran for the district court. Connie Kelly and I serve in the Wayne County Circuit Court together. And Bridget has been a dear. She's traveled with me throughout the state to give expungement forums. All 3 of these ladies are the very best. Again, the names for the Michigan Supreme Court that you've had an opportunity to meet tonight are Sheila Johnson, Connie Kelly, Bridget McCormack. 3 Supremes, Michigan Supreme Court. Nonpartisan ballot. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All righty. We are now going to introduce to you those individuals who are running for judge of the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. Now, oftentimes you'll hear 3rd Circuit and you'll hear 36th District, and folks get them confused, don't know there's a difference. There is a difference. The Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court is for those individuals who live anywhere in Wayne County. If you live in any city located in Wayne County, you will have an opportunity to vote for these judges. The judges who serve in the Wayne County Circuit Court handle the felony criminal cases. They handle the family matters, divorces, visitation, child custody, things of that nature. And they handle the general civil matters. And each one of the candidates will give you more information in terms of where they serve or where their expertise is located. I want you to understand we are now talking about the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. What's also unique this year is that there are 3 different races for judges in the Third Circuit Court, in the Wayne County Circuit Court. So you're going to vote for Circuit Court judges of Wayne County 3 times. 3 times. The first set of judges that are going to come forward are candidates who are running to fulfill a partial term. Their term may be 2 years, and then they'll have to run again. But the first race will have 3 individuals. There will be 3 names from which you are to choose. And there are going to be, it's wonderful we got all these 3s. It should be real easy for you to remember. It's the Wayne County Third Circuit. There are 3 races for the judges. And in one of those races, there are 3 candidates. The first candidate for the partial term is Judge Lawrence Talon. Come on up, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, Judge Thomas, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for this opportunity to speak with you. My name is Judge Lawrence Talon, and I'm a judge on the Wayne County Circuit Court, Third Circuit Court, and I'm assigned to the Criminal Division over at Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, where I preside over felony cases that occur in Wayne County. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my background. I graduated from Michigan State University with a degree in criminal justice. After that, I attended Wayne State University Law School, where I got my law degree, and then I began my career in 1985 with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office as an assistant prosecuting attorney. I spent over 25 years as an assistant prosecuting attorney trying all types of cases, the very types of cases that I preside over now as a Wayne County Circuit Court judge. I became a judge in 2010, and I've presided over probably over 50 jury trials and hundreds of cases already. I have, as well, I sit as the chairperson of the Wayne County Criminal Advocacy Program, which trains lawyers and provides them seminars and trainings so that they can provide good justice and good representation for people charged with crimes in Wayne County. I served on the Attorney Discipline Board for over 15 years, where I presided and made decisions about cases where lawyers were charged with ethical violations. And I've been endorsed by the 14th District Democratic Organization, the 15th District Democratic Organization, the Wayne County Democratic Black Caucus, the Black Slate, the UAW Region 1, the Metro AFL-CIO, and the Detroit Ecumenical Ministers Alliance. And so I'm looking forward for an opportunity to continue serving you. Just a little brief, I've been proven to provide fair and responsible justice, and one of my basic tenets is procedural fairness. And what that means is that I treat everybody that appears in front of me in the courtroom with respect and dignity, and I give all parties an opportunity to be heard. That way, people feel that they've been treated fairly and with dignity, and that sometimes they're going to agree with the decision, and sometimes they're not. But if they're given an opportunity to be heard and treated properly, they're more likely to accept the decisions that we make. And that's the way we should have justice in our county. And so please vote for me on November 6th. Again, my name is Judge Lawrence Talon. Thank you very much.
The next candidate that you will hear from, who is running for the partial term, is Judge Margaret Van Houten.
Thank you so much, Judge Deborah Thomas, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you this evening. My name is Judge Margaret Van Houten, and I've been appointed to a partial term that ends on January 1st, 2015. And Larry Talon and myself are running to keep our positions on the Third Circuit Court in Wayne County. I am assigned to the Criminal Division in Wayne County, which means that I hear felony trials that originate anywhere in Wayne County, and they get bound over to the Circuit Court. And I hear felony criminal trials every day of the week, and I have tried many jury and bench trials since taking the bench. Prior to taking the bench, I was an attorney for 18 years and worked for the Third Circuit Court for some of that time, and for the Michigan Court of Appeals, and also in private practice and representing individuals in the court system. I was born and raised in Dearborn Heights, Michigan, in Wayne County. I've lived in Wayne County my entire life. I went to the University of Michigan for undergrad and received a bachelor's in political science. And then I went to the University of Detroit Mercy for law school. I worked in the Third Circuit Court for 4 years for a judge, helping him research the law and make decisions. And then 1 year in the Court of Appeals for that judge. I then went on to work for a firm that represented business clients, and then I opened my own practice in Dearborn, where I represented individuals in the court system handling civil matters, probate matters, and matters before the courts. I pledge to everyone that when people come before me, they will be treated with courtesy and respect and dignity, and that all people who come before the court will receive the same equal treatment under the law. It is the job of the judge to apply the law to every individual who comes before them in an equal and fair way, and to apply their discretion in the criminal division in applying the sentences. And I believe wholeheartedly in the alternative sentencing programs for people who want to turn their life around and who want to rehabilitate themselves and through the probation department. But I also believe that the violent offenders do need severe punishment and need to learn their lesson. And I believe that I am a fair and impartial judge when people come before me. And I would appreciate the opportunity to continue representing the residents of Wayne County and to continue applying equal justice under the law. Thank you.
Our third candidate for the partial term for the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. Now, I've already told you it's the 3rd Circuit Court, all of Wayne County, that there are 3 separate races for the Wayne County Circuit Court. These 3 candidates are seeking re-election for the 3rd Circuit partial term. The third candidate is Attorney David Braxton. Come on, attorney.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Judge Thomas for hosting this event, and thank you all for allowing me to come before you and speak. My name is David Braxton. I am currently a Wayne County Assistant Prosecutor. I've been practicing law for 25 years. I joined the prosecutor's office in 1988. I rose into office to become part of a unit called Prosecutors Repeat Offenders Bureau, where we prosecuted the most violent repeat offenders. I stayed there for a number of years and left the prosecutor's office in 1995 to start my own firm called Braxton and Teamer. And for the last 12 years, I worked there as one of the attorneys that did just criminal defense, and other lawyers did different work. I did federal defense work, and then I returned back to the prosecutor's office in 2007, where I went to the homicide unit, and I prosecuted some of the most violent homicides, or the special homicides that required special attention, what they call vertical prosecution, where we make a determination of who should be charged and the issuance of a warrant, and from that going on to the trial stage all the way to sentencing. I now currently am in the child abuse unit, where we are concerned about children that are abused either physically or sexually, and again we what is called vertical prosecution, make a determination of whether or not a person should be charged and where do we go from there. The importance of that is it affects everyone when you make a decision on issuing a warrant, whether or not that person should be brought into the criminal justice system and whether or not the victim is also treated fairly. I believe that I will bring fairness to the bench, I will bring experience to the bench, and I would ask for your support. Again, my name is David Braxton. I'm endorsed by the UAW, Fannie Mae, the 14th, and a number of other organizations. I thank you very much. Again, my name is David Braxton.
In summary, for the completion of the partial term of the Wayne County Circuit Court, there are 3 candidates. They appear before you. Their names are Judge Talon, Judge Van Houten, and Attorney David Braxton. These are your candidates. Vote Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court, partial term. Thank you. We're still talking about judges for the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. And as I have said, there are 3 separate races for the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. Now, this next group of judges are seeking re-election to their full 6-year term. There are, I believe it's 16 positions, and every candidate was invited. So, right, we don't have all 16, but then again, you can vote for up to 16. You choose how many you want to vote for. I'm just going to introduce to you those who happen to make their way here tonight. This is for the full term of the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. The first judge is Judge Richard Halloran. Come on, Judge.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank Judge Thomas for holding this event. My name is Judge Richard Halloran, and I sort of feel like the dean of this. I've been out of law school for 37 years, and I've been on the bench 22 years. During that time, I've had the honor of serving as a magistrate, first in 36th District Court, and then I served as a judge of the district court. In that experience, I became aware of the problems with domestic violence in our community. And growing up in an abusive environment myself, I've dedicated myself to changing how we handle domestic abuse cases in the courts. I helped found a domestic violence court in 36th District Court, and since I've been in Wayne County Circuit Court since 1998, I've created 2 additional domestic violence courts. First, our Personal Protection Order Court, and then our Solution-Oriented Domestic Violence Prevention Court. I'm a resident of the city of Detroit. My daughters went to the Detroit Public Schools. My wife, Bonnie, teaches at University of Michigan Dearborn, and she is also president of the union at the University of Michigan for adjunct faculty. As a result of that, in my years of experience, I've been endorsed by many labor organizations and political organizations. I've been around serving the community here in Detroit in Wayne County for over 22 years as a judge. What I'd like to talk about, though, is what I want you to understand is one of the most important functions as a judge in the family division. That's where I sit. Once again, my name is Judge Richard Halloran, and I'm in the family division, where I work with families going through divorces, child custody, and most especially domestic abuse situations. I was instrumental in the 1990s in helping getting laws passed, creating the crimes of domestic abuse, and also creating personal protection orders. In 1998, I created the Personal Protection Order docket in Wayne County Circuit Court, and for 5 years, I was the only judge who issued personal protection orders in Wayne County. As a result of that, I've issued over 80,000 personal protection orders, more than any other judge in the state of Michigan. My passion is working with families and making sure that the court system honors families and works with them, and also works to protect victims of domestic violence. Our court in Wayne County Circuit Court is there to serve families, to serve people. Once again, I am Judge Richard Halloran. I serve in the Family Division, and I'm here asking for your vote to re-elect me to another 6-year term so that I can continue serving the families of Detroit in Wayne County. That's Judge Richard Halloran, Wayne County Circuit Court. Thank you very much.
We are still introducing to you those judges who are seeking re-election for the full 6-year term to the Wayne County Circuit Court. Remember, this is the 3rd Judicial Circuit for Wayne County. There are 3 separate races. We're talking about the 2nd race, all right? They may not be listed in that order, but this is for re-election to the 3rd Circuit Court, the full 6-year term. The next candidate is Judge Edward Ewell. Come on, Judge.
Good evening, and thank you very much, Judge Thomas. I really appreciate, I'm sure as all the other candidates, the opportunity to talk to you about why we should either stay in the jobs that we are in or get the jobs that we want. My name is Edward Ewell Jr. As you can see, it's pronounced Ewell, but it looks like Ewell. I was appointed approximately 10 years ago by the Honorable Governor Jennifer Granholm to serve on the Wayne County Circuit Court. I serve on the criminal division. When I was appointed, I made her 3 promises: that I would be on time, because I believe that your time is just as important as anyone else, that I would treat everyone with dignity, and the third thing, that I would be fair, because people come to the court, especially in criminal cases, at the most lowest point in their lives. They've either been charged with a crime or they've been a victim of a crime. And I think that it's very, very important that it be handled timely, that the people be treated fairly, and that people feel that they are treated with respect. And I have attempted, and I've tried to do that And that's why several years ago I was appointed by the chief judge, 2 different chief judges, to be the presiding judge of that division, a position that I felt very, very privileged in terms of serving the other judges on our court. In addition to that, I've also held a position as team leader for our drug court, where we give persons who are addicted to drugs or alcohol a second chance if they commit a crime. I'm very, very proud of that program because, again, a lot of our crime is caused not because people are necessarily bad, but because they have made a mistake and fallen into the trap of drugs. So that's something that I think is also very, very important. Being a judge is very, very important to me, and it's something that I have dreamed about since I was a young lawyer, but it's not who I am. I'm a father of 2 children that I'm very, very proud of, the husband of a wife of over 24 years, attorney Felice Neville Ewell. I'm a deacon at my church. I sit on several boards, including the Sobriety House, Henry Ford Health System, the Youth Connection, and many, many others. I say all that to say that I'm not only a judge, but I'm active in the community. The same community that I grew up here in Detroit Public Schools, where I attended Cass Tech, the University of Michigan, and Wayne State University. And I had the privilege at the beginning of my career to work for a legal giant. That's the Honorable Damon Keith. And he taught me that we should always, again, treat people with respect. I want to stay in the position I'm in as judge of the Wayne County Circuit Court, and I ask for your support on November 6th. Remember, Judge Edward Ewell, Jr.
We are continuing to present to you those judges who are seeking re-election to the full 6-year term of the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. The next gentleman is a dear friend of mine. He has had my back since he arrived at the court, and he is a friend for sure. I want to present to you Judge Gregory Bill.
Hello, I want to thank Judge Debbie Thomas, my colleague, and it's a pleasure to serve in the 3rd Circuit Court with my esteemed colleagues, Ed Ewell, Linda Parker, Judge Deb Thomas, and a myriad of others. In the criminal division of the court, and I have served in the family division and the criminal division, we handle some of the most high-profile cases around, America's Most Wanted, where a little 4-year-old boy was shot in the back because his mom and dad were executed. I handled a dogfighting case and imposed one of the harshest sentences in the Midwest on the ringleader of a dog-fighting gang. We've handled other cases, People versus Sam Riddle, and a number of others come to mind. And we try to achieve justice and adhere to the 3 Ps. The judge should be punctual, be prepared, and be polite. Many times the judge is like an umpire, and an umpire in a baseball game should never feel that he or she is the most important person on the field. We have to be respectful of the litigants that come in front of us, and we attempt to do that as well. The 3rd Circuit Court's a model court for many courts throughout the country. They come and observe our proceedings and watch how we dispose of justice. Endorsements. I've been blessed to have been endorsed by a number of people, but our motto in the campaign is we've been blessed to have been endorsed by those we trust most. The Police Officers Association of Michigan and countless other first responders, and we're proud to have those endorsements. Personally, I'm married to my lovely wife, Cheryl. On Saturday, we'll celebrate 22 years. And also, I have a son with Cheryl who's a sophomore in high school. When you vote in this election, it's very crucial that you remember to vote the nonpartisan portion of the ballot. If 100 people go into a precinct to vote, and the presidency is the top of the ticket like it is this year, 99 or 100 voters will vote for the presidency, but only 65% of those people will complete their ballots. Please do not forget to vote for the nonpartisan portion of our ballots. I want to thank again Judge Thomas and everyone involved in this production. And I would urge, if you want more information about me and those who have endorsed me, including the Black Slate, Reverend Horace Sheffield, Reverend James Holly, I urge you to visit our website at www.judgegregorybill.com. Thank you.
I am Judge Deborah Thomas, and I am seeking re-election to the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. I'm seeking re-election to the open seat. I want to remind you that in order to vote for the judges, you do have to go to that part of the ballot that is labeled nonpartisan. I am completing my 18th year on the Wayne County Circuit Court. I came to the court with 16 years experience as an attorney. When I was in private practice, I did family law, probate, criminal law, juvenile family law, you name it. It was a wide span of practice in private practice. I began my career with the Oakland County Legal Aid Society as a Reggie Fellow. A Reggie Fellow is a national fellowship given to attorneys, and it's called the Reginald Hebert Smith Community Lawyer Fellowship. I have been a community lawyer from day one. I left Oakland County Legal Aid and went to work for the UAW Legal Services Plan. I helped set up the program for the Chrysler Division. That program was designed to give affordable legal services to the working man. I stayed with the UAW Legal Services Plan until the economy really hit the bottom, and I went to work for Michigan Employment Security Commission. I was in-house counsel, responsible for retraining programs for those who were lost their jobs, needed to be retrained in order to gain employment. In addition, from there I went to work for SIMTA, now known as Smart Transportation. Since I've been on the Wayne County Circuit Court, I serve in the civil, general civil, family matters, and now I sit in the criminal division of the Wayne County Circuit Court. I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for your vote. I will be listed along with all the other judges among the 16. You can vote for up to 16, but please vote for Judge Deborah Thomas. Make me number one. Thank you. We have now standing before you 4 of the judges who are seeking re-election to the full term of the Wayne County Circuit Court. That's the 3rd Circuit Court. We have Judge Ewell, Judge Thomas, Judge Halloran, and Judge Bill. There are 16 seats. You get to vote for up to 16. I want to thank these judges for coming out this evening and introducing themselves to you and giving you an opportunity to get to know them better. Thank you. We are still talking about the Wayne County 3rd Judicial Circuit Court. As I have explained, there are 3 separate races for the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court this year. The third or the final of the 3 will be elections for individuals who will be newly elected judges for a full 6-year term. There are 3 vacant seats on the Wayne County Circuit Court, and these attorneys are seeking to be elected to one of those 3 seats. So, as I said before, when you go to the nonpartisan section of the ballot and look for the Wayne County Circuit Court, you will vote 3 separate times for 3 separate races. One of the candidates for the vacant seat, 6-year term, vacant seat for the Wayne County 3rd Judicial Circuit is attorney Karen Braxton. Come on, Attorney Braxton.
Hello, my name is Karen Braxton, and I am seeking your support for a position on the Wayne County Circuit Court, non-incumbent position, full term. First and foremost, I would like to thank Judge Deborah Thomas for the opportunity to speak to you on today's date. Again, my name is Karen Braxton, and I am asking for your support for the Wayne County Circuit Court. For the past few years, I have been in private practice doing family law, probate, criminal law, landlord-tenant, and juvenile law. I have had the opportunity to practice in most of the divisions of the Wayne County Circuit Court in which I will be seeking to serve. My most important position is to represent those who would not otherwise be able to afford quality legal representation. In my spare time, what I like to do is volunteer at the Covenant House with underprivileged youth who are either homeless or have been on the streets, and they need spiritual or personal or professional guidance. I also attend the El Bethel Baptist Church in Redford, Michigan, under the leadership of Pastor Lawrence C. Glass, where I serve on the outreach ministry. In addition, I am married and I have 2 young children who attend public school in Canton, Michigan. One of the things I would like to bring to the circuit court is being timely. Circuit court judges are elected by the people to serve the people. And one of the most important things that we have to deal with is a person's time. So it's very important that as a judge, we take the bench in a timely fashion and respect everyone's time that's in the court, regardless of why they are in the court on a particular date. I also want to serve with compassion. There are many different reasons why people are in the court, and it's not my place to judge why they are there, but it is my position that I should treat each person with compassion and respect once they are in my courtroom. My mom used to always tell me that you should always treat people the way that you want to be treated. And I want to be treated with fairness and respect, and that's what I intend to bring the constituents of the Wayne County Circuit Court. So again, my name is Karen Braxton. I am asking for your support on November 6th as I run for judge of the Wayne County Circuit Court. As it has been stated on several occasions, we are on the nonpartisan section of the ballot. There are 3 positions in the seat that I am seeking, and I am just asking for 1 vote for Karen Braxton for the Wayne County Circuit Court. Once again, thank you to Judge Thomas for having this forum. And again, Karen Braxton, Wayne County Circuit Court.
Hi, my name's Brian Morrow. I'm running for one of the 3 open seats on the Wayne County Circuit Court this year. I want you to know a little bit about me. I am currently the Deputy Chief of the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, Juvenile Division. I've also been an attorney now for 26 years. As a Deputy Chief of the Juvenile Division, though, I want to tell you a little bit about what I do. I supervise 20 assistant prosecutors. I go to court virtually every day. For 6 years, I was actually assigned to a courtroom. We handle everything from school truancy all the way to first-degree murder, armed robbery, carjacking, and unfortunately in Wayne County, we see a lot of those types of cases. In addition to going to court virtually every day, I also developed a specialized juvenile diversion program. That juvenile diversion program that I pioneered in the county of Wayne is called Teen Court. And I mention it because I think it's a very important program and I want you to know about it. Teen Court is a program that takes first-time offenders, kids that have committed that first-time mistake. Often it's shoplifting, perhaps minor in possession of alcohol, possession of marijuana. And what that program does is we take those kids and we don't run them through the formal court system. We run them through this informal process. The process works like this. If the kid goes in front of his teenage peers, admits responsibility up front, those teenagers then have the opportunity to ask him or her a lot of questions. And those questions are geared to what's going on in your life that causes you to get into trouble. So for example, if I bring in a teen court case and the court case is regarding shoplifting, those teenagers are going to ask about the shoplifting event that brought them to court, but they're also going to try and find out what else is going on in this kid's life that's going to get him into trouble. Are they going to school on a regular basis? Are they coming home when they're supposed to come home? Are they smoking marijuana? Are there issues at home between the family that might get them into trouble? After the kids, the teenagers, get the information they need, they go into a jury room and they decide what the sentence is going to be for that individual that comes before them. It's been incredibly powerful in terms of keeping kids from reoffending. It's been incredibly powerful for the kids that sit as the jurors, because not only do they realize that they can accept responsibility for something so important, but also that we're willing to give them that responsibility and that trust. Not only that, they internalize the lessons that they get from watching other kids' mistakes so that they don't have to commit those same mistakes themselves. One last thing. In terms of teen court, the benefit to the kids that decide that they're willing to have other teenagers question them, and sentence them is if they comply with what the teenagers ask them to do, the case is dismissed. They don't have it on their record. They don't have to have that record impede them or stop them from going to school later on in life or perhaps getting another job later on in life. But it's taught me that alternative forms of adjudication can work. And if elected to the circuit court, if I'm fortunate enough to have your votes and your support, then I want to see developed a veterans court in the county of Wayne. Veterans courts, in my mind, work very much the same way as the juvenile court or the teen court that I just told you about. That veterans court allows veterans who may come back from war with issues, maybe anger management issues, it may be substance abuse issues. They come back here, they need treatment, not incarceration. Veterans court allows them to come back here, receive treatment, and these are traditionally people that do not seek out treatment on their own. So please, please vote for me come November 6th.
We are now going to introduce to you some of the individuals who are running for an open seat on the 36th District Court. That's the Detroit City Court. In that court, they hear things from traffic matters, landlord-tenant matters, and these candidates will be elected for the city of Detroit only. So if you are a Detroit voter, or you know someone who lives in the city of Detroit, you need to pay close attention. These individuals are running for the open seat, and there are 2 open seats for the 36th District Court located in Detroit.
Hi, I'm attorney Linda Bernard, and I'm a candidate for 36th District Court judge in the city of Detroit. It will be a pleasure and an honor for me to serve you in that capacity. I've actually served you for many, many years in many different capacities. I was Mayor Coleman Young's youngest managing attorney for the City of Detroit Law Department. I created the contracts and business infrastructure and wrote the procurement code for the City of Detroit for Mayor Young. I also argued and won a precedent-setting labor case for the City of Detroit while I was working for Mayor Young, SAAA v. City of Detroit. In addition to serving the City of Detroit and Mayor Young, I've also served this community as the former president and head of Neighborhood Legal Services here in Detroit. For 16 years, I represented low-income and indigent individuals in this community. I also argued 2 more cases in the Michigan Supreme Court. I created law centers like the Disability Law Center, the only AIDS law center in the state of Michigan, the Children's Law Center, a law center exclusively for the persons in the Arab community who were Arab-speaking, a law center for Hispanic persons, exclusively for persons who spoke Spanish, as well as a Native American law center. I'm deeply committed to this community and deeply committed to the values that have been espoused by former judges on this bench, as well as by the U.S. Supreme Court and the Michigan Supreme Court. As an attorney, I am licensed in Michigan, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, the District of Columbia, the U.S. Supreme Court, the U.S. International Court of Trade, the U.S. Court of Claims, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, and of course, federal court here in Detroit, as well as in Pennsylvania. I practice law in both state and federal court. I'm very proud of my record that I've established here in this community for our residents. In addition to the law centers that I mentioned earlier, I also established a program called COPS for African American men who were ex-offenders. They did all of my paralegal representation work at Legal Services. In conclusion, and ladies and gentlemen, I would deeply appreciate your vote of confidence in me, in my experience, in my maturity, in my practice record, and in what I stand for in this community. Recently, I heard Reverend Sharpton speak. He said it wasn't important what a person has or all the accoutrements of success. What's important is what an individual stands for. I stand for you. I stand for this community. I'm a warrior for justice, and I would appreciate your support. Linda D. Bernard for 36th District Court. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Wanda Evans, and I'm a candidate for judge for the 36th District Court. The ballots have gone out, or they will go out on September 22nd. Those of you who vote absentee, I'm asking for your vote. Why vote for me on November 6th? Because I'm qualified. I've been a lawyer for 17 years, and I work in the area of criminal law, family law, and civil law. I'm born in Detroit. I've gone to all of the Detroit public schools. Many of you may be familiar with Cordis, White Elementary School, Noble, Cass Tech. I went to Eastern Michigan University, Wayne State, and I got my law degree at U of D. Why do I tell you that? Because I'm proud of this great city. I got a master's degree from Wayne State University, so I'm a social worker. Now, why is that important? Because it tells you who your next judge of 36th District Court will be. Someone who has a heart for the people. I've got my law degree, and with the combination of a bachelor's, master's in social work, and being an advocate in the community, I think that I will serve you well. Many of you may remember me from last year. I represented the mother who refused to give her daughter over to the police when Child Protective Services came to her house and ordered her to give her psychotropic medication. My promise to that mother was to get her daughter back, and that's exactly what I did. And so my promise to you, the residents of Detroit, is to be on time, to be knowledgeable of the law, to listen to your concerns with both ears, and then to apply the facts as fairly as possible so that justice is given. Go to the polls on November 6th and vote for Wanda Evans, who came first in the primary. So help me continue on that path and become your next judge on November 6th.
I want to again acknowledge those organizations who did bring this program to you. Those organizations are Voices Not Heard in Michigan, Rainbow Push Michigan, and the Improved Benevolent Protective Order of Elks of the World, Metropolitan Lodge. I want to thank those organizations for their civic-minded contribution, the Elks in particular for allowing us to use the lodge in order to tape this process, and the other organizations for getting out the word and for agreeing to allow us to place this information on their respective web pages. I hope we have been informative. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I thank you for tuning in. I am Judge Deborah Thomas, Wayne County Circuit Court. Good night.